Welcome back to News Around, the only channel where we peel back the velvet curtains of the Turkish entertainment industry to reveal the beating hearts within. We are not just here to report the headlines, we are here to understand the souls behind the stardom. Today, we are diving deep into a story that has captivated millions, a story of silence, glances, and the thunderous noise of things left unsaid. Before we unravel this emotional tapestry, we invite you to solidify your place in our community. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. And for those who wish to champion our in-depth storytelling and gain access to exclusive content, we urge you to click the join button below. Your support is the fuel that keeps News Around burning bright. Now, let us step into the shimmering, yet shadowy world of an awards night that changed everything. In the dazzling, strobe-lit world of celebrity culture, the public often mistakes the brightness of the flashbulbs for the clarity of truth. We see the polished smiles, the designer tuxedos, and the triumphant hoisting of golden statuettes, assuming that these images represent the totality of the moment. Yet, as history has proven time and again, the most profound storms are often those that rage silently behind a veneer of composure. Such was the case last week, during an awards ceremony that has since become the singular focus of tabloid speculation and social media debates. The protagonist of this intricate drama, the charismatic and deeply thoughtful Halil İbrahim Ceyhan, has finally chosen to step out of the shadows of rumor and shed light on the reality of that night. He has broken his silence regarding the moment that never happened, the embrace with his former partner, Sıla Türkoğlu. Offering a confession that is as heartbreaking as it is dignified. To the outside observer, the evening was a triumph. Halil stood tall, the recipient of the Best Actor of the Year award, a testament to his professional prowess. Yet, internally, he was navigating a labyrinth of emotions that stood in stark contrast to the celebratory atmosphere. Everyone was expecting a grand gesture, perhaps a scene ripped from a romantic screenplay. Halil begins, his voice carrying the weight of introspection. But no one saw the hurricane that was tearing through me backstage. The narrative of the night had been written by the public long before the red carpet was rolled out. The mere fact that Halil and Sıla, two figures whose past romance left an indelible mark on their fans, were to receive awards on the same stage, one after the other, was the fuel for 1,000 gossip columns. The expectation was palpable, a public reconciliation, a warm hug, a visual confirmation that the ashes of their past had cooled into something touchable. However, reality, with all its sharp edges and complexities, rarely adheres to the scripts of audience expectation. Halil confesses that the turbulence began the moment he laid eyes on the guest list. The realization that Sıla's name was printed alongside his sent a jolt through his system, a physical manifestation of emotional memory. "I admit, my hand trembled," he reveals, stripping away the mask of the stoic leading man to show the vulnerable human beneath. The hours leading up to the ceremony were not filled with the vanity of preparation, but with a profound existential anxiety. Questions swirled in his mind like autumn leaves in a gale. How does one navigate the geography of a shared past in a room full of strangers? Does one offer a hug, a handshake, or merely a nod? He recalls pacing backstage, telling his team he was calm, while every fiber of his being vibrated with a strange, dissonant energy. The juxtaposition of the presenter's jovial banter on stage and Halil's internal dread created a surreal experience. He describes it as the reopening of a book he thought he had shelved years ago, dusty, heavy, and filled with chapters he wasn't sure he was ready to reread. Then came the moment that the cameras were waiting for. Sıla Türkoğlu was called to the stage to accept the Breakthrough Female Star of the Year award. As she ascended the steps, bathed in the spotlight, Halil watched from the periphery. It was a viewing experience that transcended mere observation. "I watched her walk, the specific cadence of her steps, the way she gripped the microphone," he recounts. "Everything about her screamed of the woman I once walked beside, the woman I laughed with, the partner I once dreamed with. Yet, simultaneously, she was a stranger, a woman occupying a new coordinate in the universe, living a story in which I am no longer a character." This dichotomy, the familiarity of the past clashing with the distance of the present, was etched on his face. While social media dissected his every micro-expression, debating whether he looked proud or indifferent, Halil admits that his smile concealed a silent prayer. He was wishing her happiness, truly and deeply, while simultaneously grappling with the ghosts of unfinished sentences and unresolved sentiments. This intense internal conflict Halil describes resonates with anyone who has ever had to watch a past love succeed from a distance. We want to ask you, the news around family. Do you think it is possible to fully separate the professional from the personal when the history is this deep? Or was Halil right to feel this overwhelming pressure? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and please, if this story is moving you, hit the like button to support our channel. The intrigue of the night was not limited to the stage. 4 days, whispers circulated about a backstage encounter, a fleeting moment where their orbits crossed away from the public eye. Halil has now confirmed this interaction, describing it with a poetic minimalism. It was not a scene of dramatic confrontations or tearful reunions, it was a moment of quiet acknowledgement. We met in the corridor. A very brief, almost silent interlude, he explains. What can truly be said in such a vacuum? Even a simple "how are you" feels too heavy, too loaded to digest in passing. She offered a hello, and I responded in kind. It was a gesture of civility between two people who once meant everything to each other, now reduced to polite strangers amidst a sea of industry representatives. But the central question remained, why did he not hug her on stage? Why did he not bridge the physical gap when he accepted his own award? Halil's answer to this is a profound meditation on the nature of respect and self-preservation. He pauses for a long time before articulating his reasoning, emphasizing that his decision was not born of pride, as his critics suggested, but of protection. People equate distance with coldness, he muses. But sometimes, maintaining distance is the highest form of protection for yourself and for the other person. He explains that the stage was a platform for professional achievement, not a theater for personal drama. To dedicate his award to a past relationship, or to force an intimacy that no longer exists, would have been a disservice to the other people in his life, his family, his team, and the audience who supports his craft. Furthermore, Halil was acutely aware of the media circus that a single hug would ignite. He refused to let Sıla become the subject of cheap headlines speculating on a rekindled romance. I didn't want to be the center of attention in that way. I didn't want people pointing at her, whispering, "Look, she's back with her ex, she has a new life, new decisions to make, and perhaps new paths to walk." Sometimes, the greatest courtesy you can offer someone is to stay away, to let them shine without your shadow falling upon them. This statement reveals a maturity that is often rare in the industry. Halil prioritized Sıla's autonomy and reputation over the temporary gratification of a public embrace. There was also a moment, captured in shaky fan videos, where Halil seemed to hesitate as he left the stage, looking towards where Sıla was seated. Was he going to her? Halil confirms that the impulse was there. I walked down with the award in my hand, and my eyes inevitably found her, he admits. For a split second, the thought crossed my mind, should I go? Should we take a picture? But then I saw them, the wall of phones, the flashes ready to fire. I realized that if I took that step, the moment would no longer belong to us, it would belong to the internet. So, I kept walking. Ultimately, the decision to abstain from physical contact was rooted in an emotional vulnerability that Halil is only now brave enough to voice. To hug is to remember, he says, his words painting a vivid picture of heartache. To hug is to inhale the scent of years gone by. It brings back the nights you cried together, the mornings you laughed, the dreams you built that have since crumbled. It is a sensory time machine. That night, I didn't want to be that hard on myself. I didn't want to rip the scabs off old wounds. In this confession, Halil reveals that the coldness perceived by the public was actually a dam holding back a reservoir of feeling. He chose to keep his stories, and his pain, locked in a special, closed chamber of his heart, proving that sometimes, the things we don't do speak louder than the things we do. Halil İbrahim Ceyhan's revelation teaches us that what we see on screen is merely a fragment of the human experience. His choice to maintain distance was not an act of arrogance, but a shield against the pain of remembering a love that once was. It was a night of silent storms and honorable retreats. We here at News Around are deeply moved by his honesty. What is your take on Halil's explanation? Do you agree that distance can be a form of respect? Let us know your perspective in the comments section. Thank you for trusting News Around with these delicate stories. If you haven't already, please subscribe and click that bell icon. And remember, clicking the join button is the best way to ensure we can continue to bring you these exclusive, high-quality narratives. Until next time, keep looking beyond the headlines.